There.
We are live another week.
Another 2 weeks.
2 weeks, that's right. Yes, so hi everybody.
Hi.
Tina and Michael here from Better Yourself 365. And for those of you who don't know us, we are a couple. We're married and we are therapists, and we have an online business that basically helps better your health and better your relationships.
Right.
So all the work that we do, all the programs that we have online and in person are around those two topics. So happy you can join us today. And if you're not joining us live, if you're rewatching it, make comments below. Don't be shy. We love to hear from people.
Yeah.
So today we're going to spend about 15 minutes to share an important topic. Basically, the importance of taking responsibility in your relationship with your partner, because today's about better your relationship.
And taking responsibility.
Yes. And a lot of people have a hard time doing that because they either can't really tune in. It's hard for people to tune in to identify what their needs are. Or the second reason why it's hard for people is because they have a hard time accepting to ask for their needs. There's fears around that or beliefs around that stops them from doing that. So we're here today to share some experiences we've had actually this week, so it's really recent, to show you how important and how easy it can be to take responsibility for your own needs and the impact that has on your relationship.
Yeah, so when we say take responsibility, we're not talking about owning up to something you did and taking responsibility for that.
No, yeah.
We're talking about taking responsibility for identifying what your needs are and expressing them to your partner.
And not expect that your partner will know, right? Because that's what happens when we don't do that. Then we expect our partner to
read our minds.
Right, to pick up on it.
Read our needs.
Yeah. And that's not fair, and that can often cause some conflicts in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Some missed a lot of disappointments and missed opportunities for connection. So hi, those of you who are joining us today, make some comments below if anything that we say resonates with you. And we'll also address some questions in the end if anybody has some questions at the end. So you want to get started just sharing
Sure.
your example for this week, and then we'll talk about some tips.
I'm one of the people who has a hard time identifying their needs and expressing them to my partner.
No way.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I don't even have needs. I don't know why I have to express them. So just a kind of way that I am, and it's something I'm working on, is just tuning in more to my own needs rather than focus on everybody else's needs. As a helper, it's one of the things that we do as helpers. We're just tuned into other people. So, however, I can't forget about myself. So I was just feeling, I think there's a lot of COVID fatigue going on, and work's really busy, and we have our company and our family and our, our relationship and lots of things. So I was just feeling kind of run down. And I typically would push past that and just, bull ahead and keep going. And
I'm usually the one that has to remind you, honey, you look tired. We should take a break.
Yes,
take a
that's
break.
right.
And I need to keep going.
Yeah.
I have all this stuff to do.
I was just tuning into, I think I do need a break. And so I talked to Tina about creating some space this weekend for me just to get away for a night. Away from responsibilities of the house and the businesses and all that stuff, and just tune into myself, which is not something that really we do too often, but we're getting a little better at it, stealing time away for the weekend. So I talked to Tina about it, and of course, as usual, she's very supportive. It's one of the things that I love about her is she's, she wants what's best for me. So she made it very easy for me to get my needs met. The only thing is I just have to identify what they are and ask for them to be met, which is usually the missing component for me. It's not that, if I need something from Tina that she rarely can give it to me. Usually it's me not asking for it to be met in the first place. And whenever I do, she usually says yes or tries some way to meet it.
And if other people that are watching this relate to your side of this here, of that part that's hard to ask for your need, to tune in and ask for your needs to be met, like what would you say made you do it this time? Like what what
Well,
normally holds you back and what was different this time?
well, typically I have a sense of like I can do this. I can keep going. I can push through whatever it is that I'm struggling with. I can just do it by myself. But this time when I tuned in, I didn't think, I thought, oh, I'm not sure I can do it this time. I better go and seek out some support. Like I asked, like, we're both therapists, so we talk to our clients all the time
Yeah.
about reaching out for support when you need it. So I just had to take some of my own medicine and reach out.
And the impact of that, like it was a pretty powerful time to yourself.
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
came back. You're still a bit tired, but part of it was rejuvenating.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, just to get away. Not everybody will need that. In our relationship we have millions of needs, but this was what I needed right now. So it was great for me to get away, and I was near the water and I got to hang out at the water just on my own, and not taking care of anybody or anything like that, and it was very helpful, and my honey bunny made it happen.
Now, my example is tied to Michael's example in the sense that I know that it's hard for him to ask for his needs to be met. So I'm very super sensitive to wanting to make sure when he does ask, I'm not looking at the right place here, when he does ask that I give that to him. But actually this weekend was hard for me to, I wanted to give it to him so much, but I was struggling with my own needs this weekend where I was feeling a little bit disconnected from him and from the kids. And I was just overall feeling like we had been too busy, and the times that we had, even the night before, we had gone to a Christmas party, but we hardly had time to talk because it was all social, and we didn't really have time to connect. And so he was leaving with me feeling that way. And I knew that it would be like a weekend before, for tonight, for him to come back. And I had all this time where I didn't know if it was okay for me to sit with that, or should I tell him about this? And I was afraid that maybe if I did, he's not going to want to go. So yesterday morning before he left, I could see he was scrounging to kind of get ready to go. And I took the risk to tell him how I had been feeling a little bit disconnected. And I just asked him for connection just before he left, right? Just kind of like had you kind of come here and cuddle with me a little bit. And I didn't know if that would be enough for me, but it ended up being enough for me because I just shared how I was feeling. And initially your first response was like, well, I really need to get going here.
I'm trying to get my needs met.
Yeah. And I wanted to make sure he didn't think that, I was kiboshing, taking over and his needs are not important anymore. So I just told him, no, I really just want to have a few minutes here before you leave. And so then you came in and we cuddled and talked a little bit, and I told you about a little bit of how I was feeling, and I'm glad I did, even though I wasn't sure if I should in that particular moment or not. I'm glad I did because I think it was good for both of us. You even said it.
Yeah, it was nice. I'm glad you did it too.
Yeah. And so you left, and we felt connected when he left. So again, impact, right? Like working through your fears so that you can benefit from the impact. And I could have gotten caught in his initial reaction of, I really need to get going here, but I didn't, right? So that's part of it too, is like you have to be confident in, okay, this is important too, and I'm going to respect your need. And so that's why I reassured you and saying it's just going to be a minute. I just need a few minutes. And then you went in. So that's important because the impact is real. The impact is real because we could have gone all weekend feeling disconnected, because you feel that too when I feel disconnected, and it wasn't the case. So it ended up being a good weekend. He left and he had his time, and you called in the evening and we were connected, and he came back and it was good. So
all because we're really tuning in to how we are doing, which I think is always the first step.
So if we were to say the tips to people, like 4 tips.
You got to tune in. And you said, you can have disconnection between two people, but you can also have disconnection in yourself.
Right.
So tuning in to say, to ask yourself what's going on, and can my spouse or can my partner help me with this? Even if there's nothing specifically they need to do, just sharing how you're feeling really can lead you to knowing what you need, because emotions are a window to your needs. So if you can tune into yourself and figure out what those emotions are, maybe processing it with your partner can kind of really solidify, yes, oh, that's what it is. Then before you know it, a need pops out because you can associate it directly with how you're feeling. So if I'm feeling run down, then the need is going to be different than if I'm feeling disconnected, or if I'm feeling worried, so our needs will pop out of that. But first we need to tune in and to ask ourselves, what's going on here?
And when I tell people to learn how to tune in, because it's not everybody knows how to do that. And to me, it's about listening to that moment where you feel a little bit off. If you're just going about your day and you're feeling not completely yourself, okay, that's a time to tune in. That's a time to listen to what is going on for me. And write it out if you need to, right? It could be many things happening at once that's making you feel off and you can't really tap into it, but you need to tune in those moments. And that means slowing down enough to kind of hear it, hear what's happening inside, right? So that's the first tip.
Yeah, so that's the first tip. And I guess, part B of that, or whether you want to call it number 2, is then making a decision and accepting the fact that it's my job to ask for the need to be met if there's something that somebody else can do for me. For example, if it's Tina, I can't be wishing that she'd see that I'm tired and then suggest, well, why don't you go away for the weekend? I can't rely on her. I'm an adult. I have to be able to accept that this is a need of mine, and it's my job, my responsibility to ask for it to be met.
And that sounds easier than it sounds for some people, because depending on the kind of attachment you had in your childhood growing up, if you've learned that your needs were not important, you've learned to put your needs aside and maybe, be the pleaser and things like that. So it might be harder for you to do that, but it's still, important that you learn how to do that, because it is part of having a really healthy mental health and a healthy relationship with your partner.
Yeah. You want to do the next
tip? So the third tip is really, how does that go here? Yeah, so if you decide, okay, I'm going to ask for my need to be met, this is important, you have to push through that fear that you're going to get disappointed, that your partner might not be able to respond the way that Michael and I responded to each other. We don't always get it, right? Sometimes we miss the importance of that need for our partner, or we miss even hearing it for what it is, especially if the partner's not kind of tuned in into how important that is for them and they're not expressing it fully. You have to think that the risk of just letting your need go is greater than the possibility of your partner disappointing you if you ask and they're not there. Because over time, pushing your needs aside in a relationship is toxic. Resentment will build. You won't feel fulfilled. And you have to take the part that's yours in that. It's not all your partner, right? So that's the third tip. And the fourth tip is, even if you do all these steps and you bring yourself to asking for your need and your partner does disappoint you, then it's about talking about it after. It will happen that there's misses, right? You can expect that. It's never going to be perfect. But to talk about it after, you know what? I really was trying to express something that was important to me that time, and I either wasn't clear on how I needed that, or you weren't there to give me what I needed. And I need to really talk about that, because next time that's something that I want us to work on, right? There's a way to make it better next time. So don't give up, I guess is what I'm saying. That's the fourth tip.
Yeah,
because it's important.
Curl back around and process that.
Because needs are important, and both of your needs are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's the tips.
Yep. Taking responsibility for identifying and expressing your needs to your partner. There it is.
Do you want to give them an action?
Yes. So how about, Tina was talking about slowing down and tuning in. how about at some point in the next 24 hours, you slow down enough to bring your attention into your body and see how you're doing. And, really tune in and really take several minutes to just take some deep breaths and bring your attention inward and see what's going on in there. Maybe you're feeling great, and that's awesome. And maybe you'll have a need to let other people know that you're feeling great. And if you're not feeling great, maybe you need a conversation with your partner. Maybe there's something that they can do to help support you getting your needs met.
And a tip on when you're approaching it with your partner that's very important too is that don't just go to the need. Because if your partner doesn't understand why you need that, the emotional aspect of it, the vulnerability behind that need, it might increase the chance that they may miss how important that is for if they don't agree with it, if they don't understand it, they might miss giving that to you. So it's important to also tap into, express that to them, the why behind the need, right?
Yeah, a bit of a background information. So that's the homework, and if you do that, curl back towards this video and put a comment in there and let us know what happened.
So if there's any questions, you can pop that in now. And if not, we do want to encourage you to visit our website. And also a heads up that our digital training for couples that we have that's called Taking Charge of Your Relationship. And we teach you some concrete things. One of the what we talked about today is one of the things that we cover in that, but lots more to really learn how to take charge of your relationship together and to create that healthy cycle, that healthy pattern of communication between you and your partner. It's going to be on sale for 2 weeks during the holiday season starting December 17th. So keep an eye out for that. We will post it, but if you're interested and you don't want to miss it, because it's only on for 2 weeks and it's 55% off.
55.5 actually.
I had him do the math. Shoot me out an email if you're interested in making sure that you don't miss when the sale comes up, and I'll just write your name and make sure that I inform you directly of that. So my email is tina@betteryourself365.com. So don't be shy. Send me off an email if you want to make sure that you're informed of that sale for our digital training for couples. All right, folks.
Awesome. Have a good Sunday and a good week, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes. So until then, live healthy and love fully.
Yeah. Take care, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.